Woohoo! Why, hello, hello. Let's see what we have. Got Mr. James on the details. Thanks for sharing the show, sharing everything over for us. Figure we have a good old last ride going on right now. Last ride of 2024. We got some hauls. We got some reflections going on. We got some goals. We got a little bit of not knowing what's going to end up going off. That's why we're going it's live. This is a series that we go over. We're shooting for. This is a series that we go live. We don't know what's going to end up happening. Guests could pop up. We could not have guests. We could end up going over through hauls. Anything that ends up going, it's a no holds bar little jam session that we have. We have a little bit of an idea for today's show that we're going to end up having. We're going to go through some reflections. I got a couple boxes. I got a couple boxes from channel sponsor Organic Price Books. Whew. I was hoping there was going to be a little bit more, but it got a little bit slowed over. Or got a little slowed down, and that's going to come until Thursday because there is no mail tomorrow. You go like that. You go like that. It has that going over with it. And while we're talking about Organic Price Books, you can end up using our discount code of FIFAJack to save $2 off. If you have four or more books, rock it out with Jack It Together, and you'll save 5% off your entire order instead. So I'm going to go slide this back over to the comments. Keep on going. And reflect what we're going over. We had a video that ended up doing this, but we're going to do this live stream. And then we're also going to announce our goals for next year. So it's going to be some craziness that's going to be going on. But obviously, before we end up doing that, we'll end up cracking some books open, have a little haul, and then keep on going back and forth. So let's take a moment and reflect what we have done with 2024. 2024, we went over and we got more targeted with more media, and we ended up finding which direction that we ended up going. We started off being, well, everything to misleading, I guess now is what we are, because a FIFAJack Gaming kind of misleads since we went into the comic book world and stayed there, because that's where we got most of the support, and that's where our friend got new friends, got to go streaming with it. And that's what we end up going with. So currently, as it stands, I'll go over here. I'll go share screen. And I'll slide on over to this. As it stands, we're sitting at 148 subscribers. Our goal was to be at 1,000, but that's okay, because the thing is that we're getting over and we're trying to find ourselves, and we're going to be getting better. And I'm going to be honest with you, all this other social media aspect that I have for it, we're not really using anymore. We sometimes end up using Twitch, but now we're kind of streaming more on YouTube, so we don't end up having that. Anchor became something else. Twitter, we don't even use. What I need to add on here is Blue Sky. I need to start using Blue Sky more. I know everyone's saying that, but the thing is that's definitely a tool that I got to end up trying to use. Previous goals, I cheat. I kept this from last year. I don't think it's going to go over as the thing. As the thing that's going to be going over with it. And I'm going to be updating it. It's going to end up switching over for when we come over to next year's videos, breaking up the new goals. But the goals I ended up having is I had some personal goals, and the first one was avoid FOMO. Honestly, I think I did that pretty well this year because I didn't have any books. I ended up was fear of missing out. Yeah, I ordered some to make sure I ended up getting them, but I didn't have that entire effect that, oh, I got to get this book because if I don't get this book, I'm screwed going on with it. Closest books, though, I would say that ended up having FOMO would have been DC versus Marvel and then the Amalgam Universe. There's shenanigans going on with the Amalgam Universe. OPB got a little bit shorted on their little stash of books. Unfortunately, both the direct market cover and the standard cover. So if you're trying to pick that up, you're going to end up sadly having to find that on different avenues for right now. I don't know if it's going to be shaking the tree and it's going to end up getting better or not, but I'll try keeping an eye on it. Another thing is that we have been featuring. Oh, I thought I prepared everything, but I didn't prepare everything like I thought. And I'm just drifting off the script here. Another thing was to cut down on singles. I kind of didn't do that too well because we went a little bit more featuring singles. Because if you look at our single Sunday, that ends up featuring the singles that we end up picking up and actually cultivating our entire pull list where we add and we subtract stuff that's going on there, or we keep the good stuff that we end up liking, like Thundercats, for instance. I'm becoming a little bit more or better of a content creator, which was the main goal. Would like to do more stuff with organic price books, and that's something that's going to be down the line. But I feel like that's something that we're going to end up locking over, trying to get to be better content first before we end up jumping into that little pond. We did do an end of the year video for near mint condition, which was amazing. I have to say, I ended up watching the review. I could have done better, but I could have done worse. It was kind of fun. I'll have a description I'll have a link to this in the description down below after I end up getting done with the filming. Channel wise. All right. So this is where we kind of drifted off because originally I had one book review and one deck tech, at least one each month. So we didn't do the deck tech because we drifted away from Magic because Magic wasn't doing too well. And we didn't really do as much of the book reviews. We're going to be better about the book reviews. That's what we're going to end up doing. But the shenanigans that came over with that was kind of crazy. And I honestly didn't figure out a way to manage it better until towards the end, which I'm going to get better with that. So time management is a huge thing. I saw that Omar ends up trying to have a plan for a couple of videos, and it goes over with that. Viewers, by the end of the year, I was hoping to have 1,000 subscribers, but as obviously we have 148, which I am appreciative for that 148. We're eventually going to end up growing there. That's the big thing is I'm going to keep on working at it. We're going to keep on getting better at it until we end up getting to 1,000 subscribers and then keep on growing from there. We did follow up mid-year, and obviously we followed up at the end of the year. All right, so that's reflecting for what we ended up doing throughout this entire year. But would you guys have any content that you guys like to end up having down there? What's something you would like to see? And while we wait for that, I'll grab box number 1 from Organic Price Books. Love that boxing. This is a nice heavy box, so this is going to be a nicely filled here. I'm also excited because after this, I'm going to end up filming the entire month review of our December hauls, all of our Christmas, birthday, everything haul. Don't need the invoice. You don't need to see that. And this is one of those that still have the peanuts, but they're nicely protected in here. First book coming out. Volume 1. Okay. Criminal by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. This is a deluxe edition. This is volume 1. This must have been one of the boxes from the big sale that they ended up having for the Black Friday. So that means it's going to have a whole lot of criminal in it. We got volume 1. We got volume 2. And we can't stop there because we got volume 3. That was all of them that they ended up having in their sale. This ended up having a complete run that came over with the criminal, except for the latest one. But that's became an out of print, and I don't know when that's going to come over with it. But if that does, might as well pick it up. So we end up having a complete set with that. They had a crazy steal on that. After we end up getting done with this haul, we'll go over and check a couple sales that we have over at Organic Price Books. Okay, so those are the big guys. And then we have hard copy of Swamp Thing, Green Hell. A little black label action. Followed by Wonder Woman, Hysteria, Crazy Art. They end up coming out with a bunch of books that's like this. So we ended up wanting to go over with it and eventually end up reading those because we also have Dead Earth. I think there's a couple other ones that I picked up that I haven't seen. Omni Buddy special that he ended up pushing me towards is Aquaman, Andromeda. I think I saw Omni Dog talk about this and having a CD that goes with that. So I got to ask him about the CD to figure out what CD that was to end up following along with. A little Ram V action. Okay, and this is the last one out of this box here. Slide all those peanuts off there. Lonely City, or Catwoman Lonely City. So those short books. This is by Cliff Chan. Dramas by Rob V. Let's see. Wonder Woman, Hysteria, the Amazons, the Krutnik, Holmes. Ooh, buddy. And Jeff Lemire on Swamp Thing. Let's make sure that's all that was in that box. Perfect. So these are all the books I ended up picking up from their Black Friday sale that had a screaming deal for it. Slide it over this way. Green Hell, Hysteria, Andromeda, and Lonely City. Set that over there for the reflecting at the end. And in the deluxes of Criminal 1 through 3. Oh, that ended out pretty nice. And then we'll slide on over to OPB. So they got a couple sales that's going on right now over at Organic Price Books. Starting off with the blowout sale, where this is kind of taking place of the Black Friday sale. I don't know how much longer we've got it on there because there's not a timer that's on this. But you got 15 pages of stuff, I believe. that you can be picking up that's on sale right now. The Dazzler Omnibus Trust. I Hate Fairyland Compendium. Oh man. Yep, there's 15 pages that's going to be all together. And there could be some pretty nice discounts that you can end up getting, where you can see up to like half off. This is only a few bucks off. You got the Batman and Robin Adventures. This is to be following the Batman Adventures omnibus that you end up having. Avengers by Busiek and Perez. Little Monsters, which is another Jeff Lemire book. Oh, that's one I ended up going crazy about, is the Mew Massacre Prelude with the Romana Jr. cover with Dr. Doom on there. So this is one of those ones that can end up having a couple different avenues that you can go with. You can end up getting one or Uncanny X-Men 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then also get the X Factor to be able to end up going with that. Or you can end up getting 1 through 4, get this, and then have New Massacre and stay with the main line of the storyline of the X-Men to get the entire Uncanny phase going on with it, which that's the choice that we ended up making. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Scotty Pilgrim, Daredevil by Chip Zdarsky, Volume 1. That would be a nice little pickup, especially since Volume 2 ended up just coming out. Oh man, that's sold out. But that's a nice little sale. But that's not the only sale that they end up having. They also have more that goes on with that. We'll get back to the main page. Something that's big that's just came over, a couple days ago, was the Invincible sale. With season 3 coming out, they ended up coming out with an Invincible sale that's coming over with it. So they have a whole bunch of different copies of Invincible that you can end up picking up. Like you get the entire run of Invincible, 1 through 3 of the hardcover. And then you also have the library editions that's signed. Library editions is the biggest edition that you can end up having. It's tied with the Ultimate editions that ended up being about the same size. But this also has more than what the Ultimate editions do. The compendiums, hardcover is basically the same as the softcover compendiums. It takes 3 compendiums, 6 library editions, and I believe 12 of the Ultimate editions. Which that's what right here is the Ultimate edition. And I think a library edition takes 2. Has 2 of them for each library edition, so that's going to be a nice little grab to be picking up. It's definitely a series I would strongly suggest. It's good for all ages. I mean, it has a little bit blood that goes on with that, but back over there. So we got a nice sale that's going on over there. Another thing that we could end up checking over into would be the Thundercats, the classic years, the omnibus, where we got 6 days left. There's been 872 backers. Awesome. We're one of those guys. Looks like there's $117,275 that's been fundraised for this project. A little community notes. Retailer edition. Very excited about this omnibus becoming available. Any words that the retailer edition in the future? Okay, that's the question. They ended up making the first stretch goal of 100,000, and that means that we got to see the second type of the pledge level that we can end up going with. So if we end up getting over to, I believe it was 200,000. Crap. was 198,500. We got to that, they announced that it would be Sitara would be the next Thundercats animated mini print, which would be kind of cool. I have the feeling if we got to the 250,000, you will have Tigra, because my big thought process is they're going with all the surviving cast of Thundercats, which we only have 3 of them currently. We have the person that does Lion-O of Larry Kinney, and then we also have Tigra, and then we also have Sitara, which I can't remember the names of their voice actors. I've only interacted with the Tigra one once over at Cherry Comic Con, and unfortunately, the voice actor for Sitara wasn't able to make it. Once I heard her name was Linda. Boop, 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 boop. We'll save the last haul for the end of the video. Let's see. What else do we got? We covered that. Covered that. Let's dive into the goals that we have currently going on. Yeah. James with the cuts. Oh, by the way, I ended up watching your show, that show that you suggested. That is definitely something crazy of the times. I ended up enjoying it, but I ended up losing the feed accidentally because my YouTube is off the hook, like goes all crazy about it. But I had watched probably what 10 episodes of it, and it's crazy what he ended up doing. He actually legitly driving a freaking transformer like thing with a car steering wheel. That's crazy. All right, so we're gonna go over to the goals. Oh, I can end up making that with that. Okay, so I have a reading goal. It's gonna be a simple goal that's gonna be go over. I am gonna make a reading goal of 50 books for the channel. I'm going to be reading 50 books is what my main goal. How I'm going to track that, or how, if you guys want to end up following along, how I'm going to be able to track that? Well, I'm going to track that through Goodreads, which is something that everyone ends up using. It's a nice little handy way with that. I had a simple goal this year. I ended up tossing, what was it, 15 I tossed over there, and I read 25. I think I could step it up, especially since I'm focusing more on the comic books. I'm putting a nice little dent into the comic collection now. What we're going to end up doing is, if you want to be following me over on my Goodreads, it is I don't know if they got a good quick way of doing it. Oh, you have no friends. Add some. Profile. On there, I'll put Adam Eckerson, her website, the channel. I'll put a link down in the description where my Goodreads is, where I could be able to share that with you. Because that wasn't as easy as I thought it would be end up going. But anyways, we're going to end up tracking that, and that's what we're going to end up doing as soon as we get the option to set up our goals. So that's what we're going to set it up for. Then we're going to end up going into content. We're going to be more consistent. I kind of like the idea of having a 3-video system where we're going to have one video end up dropping on a Wednesday, one dropping on a Friday, and one dropping on Sunday. So Sundays is going to be a lot because that's a series that I end up liking, and it's having a little bit of traction with it. Because I like being able to get more use out of those single issues, and I kind of have fun going over to the local comic book shop and picking up those books and stuff like that. So that's going to be something I'm going to end up trying to keep on doing. So single Sundays is going to end up going over and staying as a main flow for it. And then we're going to also, at the first Wednesday of each month, it is going to be reviewing the last month's hauls that we ended up picking up throughout the entire month. We're periodically opening up haul videos and doing live videos and everything that has hauls in it, but that's going to be where all the hauls that we picked up in that entire month. For instance, tomorrow is going to be the first Wednesday of January. I'm crazy. But what we're going to end up having is all of December haul is going to be reviewed and put over on that. It's kind of why we're also doing a haul video with everything that we end up doing right now. And then we're going to do some more going live. I like the idea of at least doing this once a month. Now, I'll take a little bit or bring you behind the curtain a little bit. This is just a basic level with StreamYard, which I kind of like. StreamYard ended up doing it. We have to be doing a bunch of live streaming or a lot of other content to be able to make me upgrade to the next level. And we're not there yet. But that's another thing that I'm thinking about and end up doing is I would love to end up doing interviews with fellow creators, comic book creators, everything. Just trying to do some kind of interviews that goes over with it. That'd be something fun and something to do with the channel. And now we're coming over with the goals for viewership and everything. Is I think the goal of viewership is trying to be more interactive with everyone, try to end up doing more with one another, taking any kind of suggestions, working with the suggestions. And then also, I want to be building up to be having the big long goal of 1,000 subscribers. So what that means is we're going to have a 3-tier system. Our first goal is going to end up being 250 subscribers. So once we get to 250, we'll have another celebrate live stream where we'll end up possibly having a giveaway. Maybe if we don't, we'll do it at 500. We'll have a little giveaway at the very least. But we're going to have 250, 500, and then 1,000. 1,000, I guarantee you we're going to have a giveaway. We'll still have a magic deck that's going to end up going with that. We'll still have some books that's set aside specifically with that. And if that ends up happening, possibly our sponsors will end up hooking us up with stuff and get you guys some more stuff that will go over with that. And I covered that. I covered going live. Oh, God. I missed this when I was talking over. I already said that we were part of the Near Mint. I want to be able to do more with Near Mint and also Organic Price Books and any other streamers out there. If you're interested into it, just give me a holler and we could try and end up working something out where we end up working together. I want something that we all work together, we all get better with it, and that we all have growth. Because it's always better to be part of a team instead of trying to be one, because if one is not going to end up building, I like building a community, not in trying to be the community. Woo. Covered that. Yeehaw. And then hauls, do. And then we'll open it up to you guys before we end up breaking the little haul. Well, I think there's one person in here. So what we would want to be looking for? Anything that we want to be chatting about? All right. Well, we'll rock it out with a special Christmas gift that I got for Organic Price Books. Again, channel affiliate. Slide on over this nice handy dandy banner. You can end up using a discount code of 5th Jack to save $2 off. 4 more books. You can rock it out with Jack It Together to be able to save 5% off your entire order instead. Orders of $30 or more ends up getting free shipping. And you can end up seeing how bomb-proof OPB ships your stuff. I know there's a bunch of drama about the peanuts thing. That's something that's going to head up over. They were training new people. They got things going on. you can end up, if you don't like the peanuts, you can end up sending that out. Anything planned for the upcoming Thundercast one? I'm thinking about possibly doing. I want to break down the issues and kind of try breaking it down to what episodes that ends up spilling specifically with Thundercats. So the original show, since that is desired with that, and it gives me a good way to reread those older issues and get some more value out of it. I'm definitely planning on reviewing the classic omnibus as soon as that comes back over from this back kicker. And I believe they said May 6th is going to be the drop date for that. Once that finishes up. And I let JP know over at Organic Price Books that if he has anything that wants to be covered with Thundercats, I am that guy for it because I want to cover Thundercats. I am totally onto that. Well, yeah, I want to be trying to do that. I kind of want to re-dive in. I would love to be able to say I could end up reading the issues and then laying those right out for it. Kind of like what Comic Storian did or does, or however, rest in peace, Benny. But I love that kind of format, but I don't think I have the technology for something like that. All right. Ooh. Get rid of that because we don't need an invoice. So you saw it with the peanuts. This is without the peanuts. We end up having the little plastic that goes on with it. And we got a book that Jake from Brave and the Boys is going to end up loving. It's one of his favorite books. It's the New 52 Omnibus. I'm excited with it. Jeff Johns, Grant Morrison, Greg Rucka, Mark Waid, Keith Griffin, all on this book. But that's the payoff. Then we have a book that Omar from Near Mint Condition ends up loving. And I have to say, there's multiple different people that ends up loving this story that comes over with it that ends up actually going into that New 52. And that's Infinite Crisis, the omnibus that comes over with it. I'm excited for this. I have to read Identity Crisis. And there's another thing I got to end up reading before I dive into this. And this is going to go into this. And then that's probably going to end up going into something else that we ended up getting in our haul, but you end up having to pay attention to our haul video to be able to see something like that. So we went with some whammies. Excited, excited, excited. Infinite Crisis, Johns, Gail Simone, Phil Hernandez, and Riz. I haven't picked. I saw that Transformers actually has a deluxe copy. I'm wondering if that's going to end up going into an omnibus at some sort. I'm tempted to pick that up just to have that into the actual collection. If they do something similar to that with Thundercats, that's probably another pickup that I'll end up doing. Is a deluxe copy where it has two, because now have enough for two different trade paperbacks that ends up going with that. But like I said, I'm all in with it. There's Thundercats, the main storyline that you have Deacon Shive really end up doing. There's another one that's coming over that dealt with the second core that's from the second season. So you have like Linkso, Bigali, Amira, and another character I can't remember that's going to end up being in there. Apex is going to be into the main storyline of Thundercats, so that's going to be a nice little mix that's going to come over with that. That's something I'm excited for Thundercats wise. Chitara wrapped up to where I thought it was going to end up wrapping up to, and where she ends up seeing that premonition of Thundera ended up going over with it. But that was kind of a nice little wrap up coming around to it, which is something I was kind of expecting. Artwork, amazing. A1 artwork, though. I'm doing way too much. Holy smokes. Should be saying whiskers or something a little bit more better about it. Oh, what was that thing? See if I can end up going back it long enough for that history with it. I don't think I've ended up pulling that up. Anything that you would like to end up adding there, Mr. James? I can't thank you enough for sharing the videos with this proper avenues and everything, because I thought that about that with Omnidog and over at Nearman, and I'm like, oh no. And I do seriously appreciate you end up doing that for me and all the other YouTubers. You're definitely the person that's amazing. Like I said, especially pulling up old videos and stuff like that. Oh, I know we're a smaller channel and all that, and don't have as much of a pull like they end up having, or places where you can end up being the entire oracle of all comic book YouTubers. But all right, we'll go over what we ended up picking up in the haul, and then we'll wrap her up and then call her a night. That way we could end up shooting the video for tomorrow, since now we have all the haul boxes open. Waiting to that, I have what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, or 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. I have 20 books for that. 20 books. Oh, that's going to be a He-Man friggin' way to finish that. So I'm going to start off with the hardcovers that we have. We have Catwoman, Lonely City, that has massive glare because of the Saran wrap. Aquaman, Andromeda. Wonder Woman, Hysteria, The Amazons, Swamp Thing, Green Hell, followed by the deluxes of Criminal 1, 2, and 3. And then we have these chungy omnibuses. Infinite Crisis and the New 52 omnibus. Holy smokes. Power time. Boop. That's not too bad. A little craziness that we end up having. It's a nice little haul that we ended up picking up. Oh man, someone popped in here at the last minute. I'm sad. I always get over with it and get wrapped it up. Who's the partner in crime? All right, focus back up. So if you want to get your own haul, you can go over at organicpricebooks.com. If you have one book, you can use the code of Fifth of Jack, all spelled out, all together, to save $2 off your entire order. And then if you have 4 more books, you have a special code that you can end up using for that. You can use the code Jacket Together, and that will save you 5% off your entire order instead of the normal $2. I'll have some big savings for you that comes over with it. The last couple of times I've saved honestly, I only paid for 1% of the sales tax because Michigan has a 6% sales tax. You knock 5% right off the get-go, you're paying 1% for sales tax, which is a win. And then if you have an order that's over $30, you end up getting free shipping on top of that. And obviously, with OPB, or OPB, it's going to be bomb-proof shipping. It's going to be amazing shipping, whether it's with the paste or with the peanuts or with their normal packaging. It's an all win-win situation. I'd like to thank James. I'd like to thank everyone that came over and checked this out. I will have down in the descriptions links over to the near mint conditions video of the year end of everyone's favorite reads, where we end up having a part that's over with that. I'll have a link that also goes over to the backer kit of the classic years of the Thundercats. And I'll also have a link to our Goodreads where you can end up adding us and be able to follow us throughout the year of 2025 to see if we end up making the goal of 50 books for the entire year. That's doubling what we normally end up having, and that's going to be covering that nice and well. And sounds like I have shenanigans going on outside. So until next time, we'll see you guys later.